Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's tropical update on Tropical Storm Ernesto. So, taking a look at the 4 p.m. update, Tropical Storm Ernesto has strengthened significantly since yesterday with 60-mile-per-hour winds, 70-mile-per-hour gusts, is moving to the west-northwest and has a minimum central pressure of 1,001 millibars. And Tropical Storm Ernesto is currently bringing impacts to the British Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands, and areas like St. Martin, St. Martin, St. Kitts and Nevis, Antigua Barbuda, in the form of tropical storm force winds and a lot of heavy rain, especially for the Virgin Islands. And we're going to be starting to see impacts in Puerto Rico over the next 6 to 18 hours. Taking a look at the latest cone for Ernesto, as we go into 1 a.m. tonight, we're looking at a 75-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane with 90-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the northwest. And then, as we go into tomorrow, 1 p.m. Central Time, an 85-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane with 105-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the north-northwest. Ernesto is going to intensify to a Category 2 hurricane with 100-mile-per-hour winds and 120-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the north as we go into 1 a.m. Thursday morning. And then going into 1 p.m. Thursday afternoon, 105-mile-per-hour winds, 125-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the north-northeast. Going into Friday 1 a.m. Central Time, 110-mile-per-hour winds, 130-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the north-northeast. And then as we go into 1 p.m. Friday, 110-mile-per-hour winds, 130-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the north-northeast. And then we're going to be seeing Ernesto approaching Bermuda as we go into 1 p.m. Saturday as a 105-mile-per-hour Category 2 hurricane with 125-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the north-northeast. And unfortunately, the cone is now west of Bermuda, which means Bermuda would be on the east side of the storm and would unfortunately receive a lot of dangerous impacts from Ernesto should the track remain. And then finally going into 1 p.m. Sunday afternoon, 105-mile-per-hour winds, 125-mile-per-hour gusts moving to the north-northeast, well offshore of the east coast, but moving directly towards Nova Scotia. Taking a look at the key messages for Tropical Storm Ernesto, tropical storm conditions are expected to continue over portions of the northern Leeward Islands this evening and spread westward to the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico this evening and tonight. Hurricane conditions are also possible on the Virgin Islands, Culebra, and Vieques this evening and tonight. Heavy rainfall may result in locally considerable flash flooding and mudslides in areas of the Leeward Islands through this evening and over the Virgin Islands into Puerto Rico by this evening through Wednesday. Ernesto is likely to bring impacts to Bermuda late this week, and interest there should monitor the progress of the system. Swells generated by Ernesto are expected to affect portions of the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, the Turks and Caicos, and the Bahamas during the next few days, and then reach the east coast of the United States and Bermuda by late this week into the weekend. These swells are likely to cause life-threatening surf and rip currents. So if you live up and down the east coast, make sure you're preparing for rip currents from Tropical Storm Ernesto, even though direct impacts look unlikely. Taking a look at the latest rainfall forecast from the Weather Prediction Center for Ernesto, looking at an additional 1 to 2 inches or 25 to 50 millimeters of rain in the southern through central leeward/windward islands in areas like Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, Tobago. Looking at a good 2 to 4 inches or 50 to 100 millimeters of rain in areas like Martinique, Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, St. Martin, and Anguilla. Looking at an additional 4 to 6 inches or 100 to 150 millimeters of rain in areas like Guadeloupe, Dominica, through St. Croix, the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and areas of southwestern Puerto Rico. And if you live in southeastern Puerto Rico, you could be looking at 6 to 8 inches of rain or 150 to 200 millimeters of rain, which could result in some considerable flooding on the southeast side of Puerto Rico. So make sure you're preparing for flooding if you live in southern and southeastern eastern Puerto Rico especially, and then about 1 to 4 inches in most of the Dominican Republic as well. Now, where is Ernesto going to go after the northeastern Caribbean? Well, the Spaghetti Malagueñas is moving Ernesto just to the west of Bermuda as we go into the next 4 to 5 days. So this is going to be around that Friday night, Saturday morning time frame for Bermuda. And then, unfortunately, we have seen a westward shift in the track for Ernesto, and Ernesto might move up towards areas like Nova Scotia and Newfoundland in the next 6 to 7 days, or maybe even 8 days. So if you live across Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, even up towards Maine and New England, I would be watching Tropical Storm Ernesto very closely over the next several days, as Ernesto could move in the general direction of the of far eastern New England and Atlantic Canada. And taking a look at the latest intensity model guidance for Tropical Storm Ernesto, Ernesto is expected to rapidly intensify to a Category 2 hurricane in the next 36 to 48 hours, and several of the models are indicating Ernesto will become a Category 3 major hurricane in the next 60 to 120 hours as it approaches Bermuda. So make sure you really keep your eye on Ernesto if you live in Bermuda, as we're likely going to be seeing a high-end Category 2 hurricane or even low-end Category 3 hurricane impacting Bermuda Friday night into Saturday morning. So thanks for watching this evening's update on Tropical Storm Ernesto. Make sure you are riding the storm out if you live in areas like Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, and the Northern Lesser Antilles, and keeping a very close eye on Ernesto if you live in Bermuda, and watching Ernesto if you live in Atlantic Canada and Maine. Thanks for watching this evening's update. Please stay safe and have a wonderful evening, my friends.